All right, everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Chapter 6 of this self-help book, and it's all about unlocking your potential. It's like a cheat sheet to get to the heart of this chapter, which is a fascinating blend of, honestly, like practical advice and some pretty deep spiritual stuff.
Yeah. What's interesting is how this chapter connects personal growth with spirituality.
Yeah.
Even if you're not particularly religious, I think there's a lot here about understanding our purpose.
Totally. Okay, so right off the bat, the chapter dives into this idea that, like, feeling good about yourself actually impacts your relationships with other people. It's almost like saying you can't really connect with others unless you're, on good terms with yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think.
It really ties into this whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing. Psychologists talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
The idea is that our beliefs about ourselves really can shape how we interact with other people.
Yeah.
And the outcomes, too. Like, if we see ourselves as valuable, worthy, we're more likely to project that confidence and attract positive relationships.
So it's not just about feeling good for ourselves. It's about how that feeling kind of ripples out and affects how we treat others. And then how they treat us.
Exactly.
I read the study recently. People who have a strong sense of self-worth are more likely to set boundaries in relationships, which leads to healthier dynamics.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the chapter uses this analogy of a bucket of confidence. The more you have, the more you can share with others. But if your bucket's running low, you might struggle to see the good in anyone.
Yeah.
Even yourself. Think about how you talk to yourself. Is it encouraging? Or is it critical?
That's a really good point.
Like a good indicator of your confidence level.
Okay, so now the chapter takes an interesting turn when it starts talking about God's plan for our lives. There are some strong statements, like, God designed and predetermined you to be a success story.
Oh, yeah?
Before you were formed, God knew you. This might resonate with some people, but I'm curious, what's your take on that?
Here's the thing. Regardless of your personal beliefs, right, I think the core message is that we all have inherent potential. So the book uses, religious language, but the underlying idea is universal, I think. Whether you believe in a divine plan or just, the nature of human existence, we all come into this world with unique gifts, and a purpose.
Okay, that makes sense. Tapping into that potential wherever we think it comes from. I like that. Now, the book also uses this analogy of life as a book, which I found really thought-provoking. God is the author. Each chapter is different phases and experiences.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that one?
I think it's a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
It highlights that, life is a journey with different stages.
Yeah.
We have the power to shape how each chapter unfolds, which raises an important question for all of us listening out there. Where are you in your book?
Whoa.
Are you living each chapter to the fullest? Are you stuck somewhere?
That's so deep.
Are you skipping ahead? Or even trying to rewrite the story?
It really makes you think about whether you're living intentionally or are you just letting life happen.
Right.
Speaking of rewriting chapters, things get even more interesting when the book delves into this sensitive topic of conception and how it can sometimes make people feel like a mistake. It's almost like the shadow that hangs over some people's lives, making them question their worth from the very beginning.
It's a really difficult subject, but the chapter is very clear. Regardless of the circumstances of your conception, you have inherent value. It really emphasizes that how you were conceived is less important than the fact that you were conceived.
Right.
It's like saying that the past is the past and your existence is a testament to the fact that you were meant to be here.
Yeah.
You know,
It's powerful.
it is. It's like the universe saying you're here for a reason. It's really powerful, a message of hope.
It is, especially in a world where people are often judged and categorized, based on their backgrounds.
Right.
It's a reminder that everyone has a story, and those stories don't define our value.
Exactly. Now, the chapter kind of goes even further,
Okay.
suggesting there's something like bigger we're all meant to do.
Okay.
It talks about exposing God's nature, which is described as the excess of his potential. It's one of those phrases that might leave you scratching your head.
Right. Especially if you're not familiar with the book's language.
Yeah.
So in practical terms, what does that even mean?
Think of it this way. What are your, unique strengths and passions?
Okay.
How can you use those to make a positive impact on the world? It's about recognizing that we all have that, spark
Yeah.
of something extraordinary within us.
Okay.
And we're meant to share it with the world.
So it's not just about self-improvement for the sake of self-improvement. It's
Yeah.
about, using our gifts to contribute to something bigger.
Yeah.
There's this quote in the chapter that really struck me, and it says, "God is disappointed in the human race." That's a pretty bold statement.
It is bold, but I think it's meant to challenge us a little bit. It's saying we're capable of so much more
Yeah.
than we actually do.
Right.
We let fear and doubt and those limiting beliefs kind of hold us back.
Oh, for sure. So it's a call to action, to step out of our comfort zone and really go for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's be real. It's one thing to talk about this potential, but how do we actually turn it into action?
That's where this framework in the chapter comes in.
Yep.
It lays out, a clear path from thought to action.
Okay.
It starts with thought, then word, then idea, then imagination, then plan.
I like that. Actionable steps.
Yeah.
So break that down for me a little.
Okay.
It starts with a thought.
Right, like a seed in our minds, right?
Yeah.
And then you express it as a word,
Okay.
giving it more form.
So then it evolves into an idea like a seedling starting to sprout.
Right, exactly. And that's where things get tricky for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
They get stuck in the idea phase. They have
Yeah.
all these great ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but they never actually take you to that next level.
Which is...
Imagination. That's where you really start to visualize that idea blooming.
Yeah.
You can see the possibilities. You can feel the excitement.
But then what?
The chapter really stresses the importance of actually documenting your plans.
Okay.
You're taking those imaginations and turning them into steps.
Right, because it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement and then never actually do anything.
Totally.
Having a plan keeps you accountable. It helps break down those big goals
Absolutely.
into smaller steps.
The chapter even goes on to categorize people based on where they fall in this whole process.
Okay.
You got your followers,
Mm-hmm.
dreamers, visionaries,
Okay.
and then you got your missionaries.
I like that.
Followers, tend to stay in that thought or word stage.
Okay.
Dreamers,
Yeah.
lots of ideas,
Right.
but they struggle with action. Visionaries, they can see that big picture, but maybe don't always know how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your missionaries. Those are the ones that take their visions and they turn them into reality.
I love that. Okay, so I gotta ask, what kind of person are you?
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, what kind of person do you want to be?
Yeah.
You content with dreaming? Or are you ready to be a missionary?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
This chapter is really pushing us to think about where we are
Yeah.
in our journey,
Yeah.
and what steps can we take today to move from dreaming to actually doing.
It's almost like we have this choice. Are we a passenger in our own life? Or are we behind the wheel?
Right.
We can actively create the life we want.
It's about recognizing that we have agency. We're not just puppets of fate.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a little terrifying, to be honest,
Yeah.
because it means we're responsible for what happens.
It's like we're all artists with a blank canvas in front of us. We get to decide what kind of masterpiece we want to create.
That's a good way to put it.
Right. But what about those roadblocks we all hit? What about that fear of failure that holds us back? I mean, that fear of failure can be so real, Sometimes it feels like it's paralyzing.
Yeah.
What does the chapter say about dealing with that?
Well, it's interesting. It actually frames failure in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that failure isn't really the opposite of success,
Okay.
but rather a crucial part of the journey.
So instead of seeing it as a reason to give up, we should be looking at it as like a stepping stone.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost, those video games
Yeah, yeah.
where you have to die a bunch of times before you figure out how to beat the level,
Right.
each setback, It's an opportunity
To learn.
to learn, to adjust, to come back stronger.
That's a great way to look at it. Like when I first learned how to ride a bike, I fell, I don't know how many times, but each fall taught me something. And eventually I got it.
Exactly. The chapter even, encourages us to embrace failure.
Oh.
See it as a sign that you're actually pushing your boundaries. You're growing.
Hmm.
It's like, if you're not failing every now and then, are you really pushing yourself hard enough?
Okay, so for all of you out there wrestling with fear of failure, remember, it's not the end of the world. It's just part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
The chapter also touches on the role of support.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to do this alone.
No, absolutely not. Having that support system, friends, family, mentors,
Mm-hmm.
a community even, It makes a huge difference.
It really does.
It's like having cheerleaders in your corner,
Yeah.
reminding you how great you are, you know?
Absolutely. Think about a time when you achieved something you're really proud of.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel even better when you had people to celebrate with?
Oh, for sure.
It makes it so much better.
Sharing those moments just amplifies that joy. It helps you stay motivated.
It's like that African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
So remember, you don't have to do this alone. Build your support network. Let them be part of your journey.
Yes.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive today, I want to bring it back to this overarching message.
Sure.
It's really about empowering us to take ownership of our lives.
Yeah.
Create a life that is meaningful, right?
Yeah, it's a call to action.
Yeah.
Step into your, greatness. Make an impact. It's recognizing that we are all capable of extraordinary things.
If they're willing to believe in ourselves.
Right. And take those bold steps forward.
So everyone listening, I think the takeaway today is simple. Believe in yourself. Embrace that potential. And take action.
Yeah.
Don't let anything hold you back.
Don't let fear hold you back.
Start small, build your network, celebrate your successes.
And remember, that journey is just as important as the destination.
That's so true. Embrace the challenges, learn from setbacks, never stop growing. If you could go back and rewrite one chapter in your life book, which would it be? What would you do differently? Think about it and keep exploring these ideas. You got this.